and at the bottom. How tight it is in that bottom three. Sheffield United can put all of that to bed, though, all of those worries and concerns, with victory here today. That is Sheffield United in away purple, and an awkward bouncing ball for Rouse to bring under her control. She does ever so well to do so. Ella Broad, your referee. Not too far of a journey for her, only making the trek from Wiltshire. Not the most comfortable of clearances there from Sian Rogers. Today her 13th league appearance, just the one clean sheet. That coming against Nottingham Forest way back in November. Tegan McGowan there briefly picking up the ball from a Southampton perspective. So impressive at Ipswich a week ago. So tricky with her feet. And she's going to try and put that Sheffield United defence under a little bit of pressure in the early stages as Primus finds a bit of space. Brazil pokes it goalwards. It turned into a comfortable save for Rogers in a thoroughly uncomfortable situation for the visitors. There's Rouse. Bashford, who scored at Portman Road last weekend, putting under a touch too much pressure in the end. Lafayette with the throw into Devlin. Brazil's clearance, and Riva will pick it up at the back. Came through the academy at Sheffield United before leaving for Leicester City, and has since returned, of course. Quite an aggressive press in the early stages from the home team. Bashford finds McGowan. Jess Simpson there in the centre of your picture. Back to Bourne. Both of those players were substituted at half-time last weekend. McAloney wanted a free kick. Andrews, intercepted by Bashford. And now Amy Palmer. One of those three Sheffield United players who now make their living on the south coast with Southampton, starting the game today. There's another one on the substitutes bench in Rachel Brown, the goal-scoring hero at the death last weekend at Ipswich. Strong header from Goddard. Flicks awkwardly then off of the head of Sherwood. We have our first corner of the game, and it falls to the Saints. Southampton have won just 3 of their 9 home matches so far this season, so an obvious area for improvement. Then again, it is better than what they managed last season when they won just 1 of their 10 home games. Happened to be against Sheffield United, incidentally. Short ball, whipped in by Palmer. Devilish that into the edge of the 6-yard box. You might well get a second attempt at it too. Falls to McAloney. Deflects for McGowan, does really well to control that. Palmer concedes possession, giving it to Devlin. The Blades starting the day 9th in the table. Just to confirm for you, victory would indeed guarantee survival for another season. It would also take their points tally to 21 for the season. Remarkably, 3 times their total tally of a year ago. This is Andrews, their top goal scorer. Running at Goddard, perhaps beating her too. Good ball into the area. Devlin arriving. And deflected behind. Good opportunity that for the visitors. Amy Andrews often at the heart of what Sheffield United do well. 7 goals this season, including both in a 2-2 draw at Sunderland recently. Devlin takes this short, gives it to Andrews and gets it back again. Something off the training ground as Lafayette takes over. Now Kinsit couldn't quite dig the ball out there. And shouts for handball from Eva Butler. The official Ella Broad, though, doesn't appear to be all that interested. That's Rouse. Good ball through the lines, looking for Ralph. Couldn't control it. The assistant's flag up on the far side anyway for offside. Joy Ralph scoring last week, and what a goal it was as well. Something you can watch back on the Barclays WSL 2 YouTube channel, where we appreciate your company this afternoon. Busy weekend of fixtures to come on Sunday. Durham against Bristol City, Crystal Palace against Ipswich Town in a match which will have ramifications at the top and bottom of the table, and Newcastle United, Nottingham Forest. Bashford tried to find Collett, and Collett has to apologise for the lapse in concentration. Goddard appeared to get the ball, but was draped all over Charlie Devlin. Free kick in a dangerous area for Sheffield United, wearing what I can't help but think is Fiorentina purple today. It's Devlin who takes responsibility for the majority of set-piece duties with Sheffield United. 5 goals this season, a couple of those at Ipswich in January. A lot of space for the skipper, Ella Kinsit, on the edge of the box. But this one will go into the penalty area instead, and albeit into the side netting. Fran Stenson dressed all in green today for Southampton. Another one of those former Blades, been nominated for Save of the Month for her stop at Durham in stoppage time in March, which saw them come away with a goalless draw. Goddard forced back to Stenson again. That's good football to get Collett away down that right-hand side. Ball cut out as Bashford tried to find Simpson on the far touchline. Lafayette with the header. Devlin being harassed by Bashford, and eventually the referee bails her out. She turned into trouble with Atlanta Primus. A bit of a loose touch from Sian Rogers. She did well to recover. Kinsit takes charge. Going through the academy at Burnley. Still only 21 years old, but holds that position of seniority with the armband. There's that free kick a few moments ago from Charlie Devlin. She'll have hoped for such better, as will the centre-half. She'll have trekked all the way forwards. I assume she avoided their eye line afterwards. Andrews under pressure from Collett. Exchanges passes with Reeville. Into the midfield for Kinsit, and back to Reeville again. The centre-half marauding as a left winger at the moment. Lafayette. Devlin, outside of a boot, will find Butler. Good opportunity this as Butler keeps on going. It's still Butler, well saved. It all just opened up for young 20-year-old Eva Butler. You sense that had she been able to find one of the corners, Sheffield United might well have been in front. Andrews takes that in her stride, and it opens up now for Andrews! That's a quite brilliant finish from Amy Andrews. And on the day that Sheffield United can make themselves mathematically safe from relegation, Amy Andrews gets her side in front. Well, brilliantly took in her stride on the outside of the boots and given far too much space. And just a moment ago, when the opposite winger, Butler, couldn't quite bury it in the bottom corner, Andrews says, "Here you go, youngster, this is how you do it." Well, a setback then in the early stages for a Southampton side used to struggling in front of their own supporters. Lost their last 2 home matches, which means they haven't won in front of their own crowd since the 10th of January when they beat local rivals at Portsmouth. Perhaps they can start to manufacture a level up from this free kick. The perfect starts for Stephen Healy and his players. Said that morale is really high after that victory against Portsmouth a week ago. Stood over this, Amy Palmer and Jess Simpson. Might well suit the left footer if indeed they're going to go for goal. It will be Simpson who does go for goal. He's never going to trouble them, though. Might well trouble the supporter who was stood behind the goal, who caught the ball flat on the back of his head. Always going to take something pretty spectacular from that sort of distance from Jess Simpson to trouble Sian Rogers. Lafayette's clearance partially blocked by Bashford. And then Devlin bashes it over the top, and Ralph is in behind, pokes it to Butler. They are busting a gut to get forwards in support, cleared away by Goddard. McGowan will try to get the other side of Cowan, who does well to use her body. Finds young Butler. This is Rouse. Palmer back there, sweeping up for Southampton. Devlin. There's the goal scorer, Andrews. Awkward bouncing ball to be dealt with by Bourne, albeit not all that convincingly, as Brazil tries to help it on its way, but only finds Kinzit instead. Devlin. Lafayette. Ralph lays it off for Charlie Devlin before returning the ball in that direction. Ralph, low ball, flicked on, well stopped. Can Devlin get there? Nope. Cleared away. That Southampton goal living a charmed life. It continues to do so as Lafayette takes over. Finally into the gloves of Fran Stenson, who is a whole lot busier than she would have hoped to have been through the first quarter of an hour or so of this game. Really tricky play from Ralph to squeeze the ball in along that near touchline. Oh, so close to it being two. Yeah, go. Sheffield United already a goal to the good, really knocking at the door at the moment. Trying to put clear daylight between themselves and the Saints. That cross from Lafayette nestling itself in the gloves of Fran Stenson, who will be grateful of a quieter few minutes to come, she'll hope. Far too much on that ball from Bourne. Andrews forwards to Lafayette. She's kept going down that left touch line as well. Kinzit to Sherwood. Sheffield United haven't won any of their last 4 away games. Their last 3 points on the road came all the way back in November at Crystal Palace. That remains their 1 away win all season. Only Durham picking up fewer points on the road. Long searching ball from Rouse, picks out Ralph. Hope you're listening closely to the differential between those two surnames as Devlin picks it up, and he's still going. Charlie Devlin! Inches wide. Well, they're playing so well, and Charlie Devlin's at the centre of all of it. Second corner kick of the game for the away team. Devlin also on corner kick taking duties as well. Albeit, I think the referee wants to make sure that the ball is indeed where it needs to be. Very crowded towards the back post at the moment. Fran Stenson, the goalkeeper, under a lot of pressure as well. To that bundle of bodies, it's well headed, bravely headed. I think that might well be Collett, who's down and feeling the after effects of the challenge. Southampton 2-0 winners at Sheffield United when they met just before Christmas. Goals that day coming from a couple of defenders, Jess Simpson and Amy Goddard, as Megan Collett does get back up to her feet again. Good to see. Looked a sore one. Southampton have certainly had the rub over Sheffield United. Won each of the last 5 meetings and 6 of 7. But today it's Sheffield United who have started this game so well. And here is the goal scorer, Andrews. Rolls it to Ralph. Might well get it back again here, Andrews. Good challenge made, though, instead by Palmer. Finally, Brazil gets on the ball, finds McAloney, who in turn gives it to Primus. Palmer again to the rescue to maintain possession for the home team. Ellie Brazil, the one change today. She was, like a few moments ago, you saw Collett clattered. Brazil was clattered in their goalless draw at Durham, which left her with a concussion, and that's why she missed out in the 2-1 win at Ipswich last weekend. Long, searching ball for Tegan McGowan. There's Cowan in front of her. Always asking a lot there of Simpson. And the ball to try and stay in. That'll be a goal kick instead. Brief pause in play. Sheffield United's only victory against Southampton came back in the April of 2023. A 1-0 win here on the south coast. In those days, Fran Stenson might well have been in the opposite locker room. No question, who'll be the happier of the 2 coaches? You can see on the opposite touchline, Simon Parker was frantically instructing his players. Stephen Healy looks far calmer under the cap. Looks like a pretty thorough redressing of the tactics from Parker. Says they're looking to maintain positive momentum. Third obviously out of their hands, but he maintains they still want to push for it while it remains a possibility. If they lose today, that's all but gone. Fran Stenson appears to be okay, made a couple of excellent saves at Ipswich last weekend to keep her team in with a chance. Nominated for Save of the Match as well for the month of March. Catch all the best of Barclays WSL. Football have just launched their brand new app around a week or so ago. It offers fans of both the Barclays WSL and Barclays WSL to a front row seat to exclusive content and all of the games broadcast on the league's YouTube channels. You can download the app for free. Fans can search WSL Football in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Sheffield United get us back underway again. Goddard meets that with a powerful header and it falls to Palmer. McGowan looking for Primus. Very crowded over there for McGowan to operate. Does well to win aside a corner kick. It's Tara Bourne who goes across to take the in-swinging corner kick. Mary Bashford will stand ominously close to the Sheffield United goalkeeper. And swinging ball flicked on by Goddard. Might well have been a clash of heads as well, with Goddard involved. Potentially a second corner in quick succession, and looks a sore one, certainly, for Amy Goddard, who appears to be bleeding. It's Simone Sherwood from a Sheffield United perspective. These stoppages in the game giving Simon Parker and Southampton an opportunity to just regain their feet. Here is the incident, whipped in by Bourne. It's Goddard and Sherwood attempting to head the same ball. Stats there do reflect Sheffield United's superiority in the first 25 minutes or so of the game, particularly with those attempts on goal. Good to see Amy Goddard back up on her feet again. Sheffield United might count themselves a little unlucky to not be maybe too clear of the Saints, but this is the moment that they took the lead through Amy Andrews. Pinpoint accuracy finding the bottom corner of the net. That her 8th goal of the season, does ever so well to take that in her stride away from the chasing Mary Bashford. Concern here though for Stephen Healy and his players, as Simone Sherwood remains on the ground receiving treatment. What an exciting promotion picture we now have at the top of the BWSL 2. Birmingham finally unseating Charlton. As you can see, though, were the scores to stay like this, Southampton would no longer be able to catch third place. At the bottom, Sheffield United would move on to 21 points as it stands. 7 clear of Portsmouth, who would no longer be able to catch them. So were the score to stay like this, Sheffield United would be mathematically clear of the threat of relegation for another season. It's certainly not something to be sniffed at, given their struggles a year ago when they finished bottom of the second tier and were only spared relegation due to a technicality when Blackburn Rovers withdrew from the competition. Preparing a change, Simon Parker and Southampton. That's Millie Mott, who's stripped and ready to come on, maybe suggesting that Amy Goddard will not be able to continue. Mott, who replaced Jess Simpson a week ago at half-time. There's confirmation of the change because of that head injury to Amy Goddard. She won't be able to continue. Scorer at Sheffield United in their 2-0 win in December, replaced now by Millie Mott, 22 years old. 5 substitute appearances in the last couple of months, but hasn't started a game since December. And Simone Sherwood has since been taken to the touchline. Southampton will have a corner kick after that lengthy stoppage, their 3rd of the game. Taken by Bashford, right underneath the goalkeeper's crossbar, well punched away. Risky move from Devlin, trying to control it there. And Bourne with a shot which was deflected. You can see Sherwood there. Appears to have some strapping around her forehead. Ready to come back on. For the time being, Sheffield United down to 10. But not any longer. Sprinting back into the middle of the defence, you'll see Sherwood there. Now with Palmer. That's an inviting ball, headed by McGowan, what a save! Brazil now, smashed clear. Magnificent stop from Sian Rogers to keep the score at 1-0. Southampton will take some encouragement from that, and from that ball out. What a poor one. Just after that, brilliant. She gives it straight to McAloney and then makes the save eventually. The highs and lows of life as a goalkeeper. It's an excellent cross, and McGowan's header has Rogers at full stretch. Their player of the year last season was up for save of the season in the 2nd tier for a stop, ironically, against Southampton. She might well have just done it again, because if that doesn't make save of the season, I don't know what does. McAloney picking up some space between the lines, dropping deeper with Brazil going down the middle. She's fast, not quite that fast though. Sheffield United content to play the ball out from the back. There's Simone Sherwood, just 19 years old, who joined in January from Leicester City. McAloney with the attempt there. Eventually pounced upon by Rogers. The ball from McAloney to set McGowan away, and she's got green grass in front of her for the first time. Eventually Sherwood getting back, but McGowan will go on her own. Asking a little bit too much. Always positive, always direct, McGowan. Birmingham City loanee. Always looking to do something positive, Tegan McGowan. A couple of goals since joining on loan from Birmingham in the winter. Oh, poor ball from Rogers once more. She'll just about keep that in. I think that's the 3rd time in 34 minutes, of which we've probably not played about 8 of those minutes because of the head clash, that Sian Rogers has given the ball away inside her own penalty area, living a very, very charmed life indeed. Apology there in the direction of her teammates. And Michaela McAloney mustn't have believed her luck. Rogers again finding the wrong colour shirt. Rival now under some pressure as a result. Brazil and McAloney swarm around her, and Primus has space. Well blocked by Sherwood. A fourth corner kick of the first half for the home team, who are edging closer to an all-important equaliser. Mary Bashford stood over the ball, scorer a week ago. Brazil unable to control it, but Palmer digs across out, looking for Bourne. McAloney wins it back and hits it over the top of the crossbar. Michaela McAloney with the effort, no goals in her last 7 matches. And still, Sheffield United persist in building from the back. McAloney almost punishing the lack of a clear clearance. Primus, little flick around the corner looking for McGowan. Southampton starting to work their way back into this game. Less than 10 minutes remaining at the end of the first half, but we're going to have oodles of stoppage time. Sheffield United's victory over relegation candidates Portsmouth, their first win since early November, and their first under new head coach Stephen Healy, who himself had gone 5 games without a win to start life in charge. It appears to have done just the trick. Plenty of confidence in their performance so far today. That'll be a Southampton throw-in in front of the man I was just talking about, Stephen Healy, dressed all in black with a black baseball cap. Spoke about the need for building on what they have started to establish over the last few weeks. Insists they're not really thinking about securing safety today, more about establishing an element of consistency, but sure I'm not going to turn the nose up at the notion of mathematical survival. As things stand, they will be safe for another season. Rival away from McAloney. Simpson intercepts though, and now McGowan rolls the ball under her studs, tries to nutmeg Cowan, gets the other side of her, gives it back to Palmer! It's a good stop again from Sian Rogers. Amy Palmer looking up, taking aim and firing. Well, this will be their 5th corner, and an attempt to go short this time with Simpson to change the angle. Bending ball towards the back post. Well dealt with by Lafayette. No quarter being given by Tara Bourne, flying in at that back stick. Amy Palmer coming oh so close to scoring against her former club. Well, this Sheffield United penalty area coming under constant siege. The keeper comes, doesn't get it, and it's stabbed home by Jess Simpson. Southampton have knocked and knocked and knocked again at the Sheffield United door, and finally it opens. The aerial bombardment was just too much. The goalkeeper doesn't cover herself in glory, coming for it, swing and a miss. And Jess Simpson could not believe her luck. Well, he'll be a whole lot happier now than he was 20 minutes or so ago. That is Simpson's 5th goal of the season. 2 of those have come against Sheffield United. And can they go and get another now with the wind in their sails on this grey Good Friday? Sheffield United desperate for all 3 points today to ensure they survive the drop with a couple of games to spare. Looked a sore one for Collett, who's been in the wars so far this afternoon. Southampton need all 3 points if they are to maintain even the faintest hope of chasing down 3rd position. Unlikely, but a glimmer still there as Lafayette ensures that'll be a throw. Brazil's flick on. It might fall for Primus. Sherwood tries to clear it. It still might fall for Primus. McGowan drags it wide. What to make of Sheffield United's defending in this first half? They teeter from the awful to the awesome and back again. Sian Rogers, quite brilliant with her gloves, but I don't know, she must be wearing the wrong size boots today. Sherwood with the opportunity to try and clear that away. Almost a golden chance for Atlanta Primus to end her long 12-game wait for a goal and to put the Saints in front for the first time this afternoon. Oh, might well have been inconsequential, but it's fallen through to Ellie Brazil, who again drags her effort wide. I don't think Michaela Macaloni meant to let that run for her teammate, but it worked out into a brilliant chance for it. Brazil knows she should have done better. Sheffield United will again try to play out from the back. Rogers into the feet of the skipper, Kinsit, who's going to get caught in possession. It's Macaloni! And Southampton are in front. And Sheffield United have only got themselves to blame. Michaela Macaloni with her 6th of the season. A hug for her teammate, Rachel Brown, who got the winner a week ago. And the Saints are in front for the first time this afternoon. What is the definition of madness, I ask myself? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And Sheffield United are the architects of their own downfall. How many times in this first half have they tried to play out from the back and given it away? It's high time they were punished, and punished they are. Lafayette is possessed by the goal scorer of Southampton's 2nd. Butler has it back, seemingly for the first time in possibly 20 minutes with the ball at her feet. Same can be said for Ralph. It's going to be a free kick. A soft one, no doubt, but a free kick nonetheless. Well, 9 minutes of additional time should come as no surprise at the end of this first half. Such a lengthy stoppage when Sherwood and Goddard clashed heads. So Sheffield United have gone from being mathematically safe from the drop to right back in the mix again as it stands. But this is Lafayette. Searching ball is headed away by McAloney, and Brazil will hare after it. And we know she's got the pace, we know she's got the legs, she has company in the middle, and she manages to find Palmer, but that's really good tracking back from Devlin. Could be a shout for a free kick against Brazil. There is. An apology of sorts from Ellie Brazil. Talented, well-travelled footballer. Last season's Player of the Year at Charlton with 8 goals. Stuck on 7 goals this season for Southampton. 6 in the league, 1 in the League Cup. Ball breaks for Kinzit. Now Rouse. Touch a little loose. That allowed Bashford to squeeze back in front again. That'll be a free kick with Palmer going down under the challenge of Molly Rouse. 27 now, the former Aston Villa Academy product. One of several players on the pitch to have spent time in America playing her college soccer. Bashford back to Bourne. Long clearance, attempting to find McGowan. Instead it's with Ralph, who appeared to handle that as she tried to control it. She did. Her goal last weekend, the first since September. She missed 3 months out with injury. Bourne's ball is direct and cleared away by Jess Revel. It's a fixture that occasionally brings the drama. Southampton winning both matches last season, 3-2 at Sheffield United and 2-0 on the South Coast. Bourne will be favourites to that, but we'll let the ball run for Fran Stenson. Mott introduced around the 25-minute mark when Goddard suffered that clash of heads and was unable to carry on. Simpson, scorer of the equaliser. Back to Bourne. Stenson to Bashford. Just about keeps hold of that, though Rouse will attempt to win it again for Sheffield United. Awkward bounce for Lafayette. Rogers, I'll say, give her the benefit of the doubt, taking no chances, putting that out for a Southampton throw-in. Well, since the injury to Goddard, Southampton have really come on strong, piling the pressure on that Sheffield United goal until eventually getting that equaliser, and then before you knew it, 4 minutes later, edging in front for the first time this afternoon as the sun creeps out at Eastleigh's Silver Lake Stadium. This game moved to Good Friday because of Southampton's men's team involvement in the FA Cup against Arsenal. Mott. Direct ball, probably has too much on it for Brazil to get on the end, as Revel takes it away from the goalkeeper Rogers. And that'll be a throw-in, perhaps. Certainly appeared to come off the toe of Ellie Brazil last. It will. A throw-in to Sheffield United. Very much up and down first half of the season for Sheffield United. Throw a 5-match winless run in there, followed by a 5-match unbeaten run. They then would go 8 games without a win. What now to finish? Three minutes of stoppage time remaining then. Devlin left that a little short, but Cowan will get there. Revel. Sian Rogers' distribution lets her down again, balloons up in the air. This time McAloney couldn't do anything more punishing with it than she did a few moments ago when giving Southampton the lead. Incidentally, highlights of this game, along with all of the Barclays WSL 2 action, available right here on the YouTube channel. Still 3 matches to come on Easter Sunday. Durham against Bristol City. That's a midday kickoff. Crystal Palace Ipswich Town at 2 o'clock, and Newcastle United against Nottingham Forest, also 2 o'clock on Easter Sunday on the Barclays WSL 2 YouTube page. Bashford to McAloney. Sees the space on the far side, which Simpson tries to exploit. Will just about keep that in. McGowan's ball is deflected and will go behind, perhaps. Sherwood might have just kept that in, albeit from my angle it looked like she didn't. Instead it'll be a throw. Rouse with a good turn. A hopeful ball over the top for Ralph to chase. Were the scores to stay like this, Southampton would jump above Bristol City into 5th position. Just a point behind Newcastle in 4th, and all importantly 4 points behind Crystal Palace, who occupy the one playoff place in 3rd position. They'll play against whoever finishes 3rd will play against the side that finishes bottom of Barclays WSL. Devlin. And that is the end of the first half. A back and forth affair between the two clubs, with Sheffield United racing out of the traps. Amy Andrews giving them the lead with just 12 minutes on the clock. A lengthy stoppage between a clash of heads with Sherwood and Goddard involved seemed to stem the flow of the attack for the visitors. And Southampton really came on strong towards the end of the first half. First through Jess Simpson's equaliser, and then second from Michaela McAloney, who put Southampton in front for the first time this afternoon. And that's the way it stays at the break at the Silver Lake Stadium. It's Southampton 2, Sheffield United 1. Those two matches could suddenly become very uncomfortable indeed. 45 minutes to secure survival for Sheffield United, 45 minutes for Southampton to stay in front. and to keep those faint hopes of third alive for at least another few weeks. To confirm that one change at the break, Shauna Guyett replacing Eva Butler. No changes for Southampton. Rogers to Sherwood, into the feet of the captain Kinsit. A stern challenge from Mary Bashford, who says she got the ball. The official this afternoon is Ella Broad, who obviously disagreed. And the Blades want to take it quickly, not to their benefit. Devlin wins it back, runs into Simpson. Both are okay. Rouse trying to find the substitute Guyett. That came off of Cowan last and will be a Southampton throw. Curious to see whether or not the visitors will continue to insist on playing out from the back in the second half when it has been to their detriment on so many occasions in the first 45. Simpson caught in an awkward area. Cowan's put that out. It'll be a throw for the home side once more. Sheffield United, who started the day 9th in the table, while Southampton currently 5th. Oof, Revel flying in with Simpson. No quarter given from either. This is Devlin running at Bourne. Has support from Rouse. Now Guyett. All the energy of a newly introduced substitute, popping up all over the place. Cowan to Rouse. Devlin thinks about hitting it. Right idea, trying to pick out that far top corner. I think I saw one for Simpson, and she flew into that challenge a few moments ago. Simpson, who was the beneficiary of the rather reckless goalkeeping, that saw them equalise. There's a clear urgency from Sheffield United in the early stages of this second half, trying to find a leveller and quickly. Devlin does well, turns away from her marker. Simpson takes no chances. Devlin has it again, albeit with Brazil on her back. Primus uses her strength. Deflects it off the heels of her own teammate, though, and Devlin comes away with it to Rouse, gets it back once more. Little step over, held up by Bourne. Andrews gets involved now. Amy Palmer comes away as Devlin couldn't make the tackle, having already been grounded. Now with Primus. Tegan McGowan ignores the shouts from the left fullback, Abby Lafayette, who was making the overlap. Brazil, Palmer. Devlin gets there. Told to play it first time. Up to the Irish centre forward, Joy Ralph. When these two teams met last season at Sheffield United, now Lionesses star Lucia Kendall took centre stage, scored a couple of goals for Southampton to win 3-2. You just never know what stars of the future you might well be watching here on the Barclays WSL 2 YouTube channel. Such youth in both sides. It's good from Revel, herself only 20 years old. Now Andrews. Well held up by Collett. And felt that should have been a goal kick, but it'll be a corner instead. Incidentally, because of the stoppage in the first half, because of the clash of heads between Simone Sherwood and Amy Goddard, both teams get an extra substitute to be able to use this afternoon because of concussion protocols. Millie Mott replacing Goddard, though Sherwood was able to continue. Devlin's in-swinger. Stenson comes, punches it, but not that far away. Falls to Kinsit, drags it goalwards. And they couldn't quite turn that into the back of the net with enough conviction to beat Stenson. Awkward punch away, went through the legs of McAloney. Ideal, that finish from Ella Kinsit, but it almost worked out to Sheffield United's benefit. Sherwood will go back to a goalkeeper, Rogers. That's a bit more like it from the Sheffield United goalkeeper. Cleared away with a bit more punch to it as McAloney manages to buy herself a bit of space and finds Collett. Now Brazil. Such a tricky player. Looking for Collett, who'd kept going. Palmer. First time cleared away by Simone Sherwood. And a 2-on-2 here, as Andrews tries to nick away from Millie Mott. Cuts in past her and delivers the ball as well, which was just out of the reach of Joy Ralph. Good build-up play from Amy Andrews. Scored her 8th goal of the season earlier in this game to give the Blades the lead with 12 minutes on the clock. 2 goals in the final 5 minutes of the first 45, though, for Southampton. Saw the game turned on its head. Well controlled by Simpson, but then given away to Cowan. Kinsit to Rouse. Devlin wants the ball before squaring to Cowan once more. Palmer to Primus. Neat football from Southampton to play their way out of danger, up to the halfway line at least anyway. Currently hanging on to what would be a precious 3 points at home. After all, only the bottom 2 sides have picked up fewer points in front of their own supporters this season. Typically the best stuff has come away from the South Coast, with 5 of their 8 wins coming on the road. Lafayette through the lines to Rouse, and now Andrews, who was just about onside but couldn't bring it under her control. Rogers picks out the substitute Guyot. Can see where the game is being played in the early stages of this second half, in the main towards this Southampton penalty area, as Sheffield United maintain their push for an equaliser. Cowan. Now Devlin. Closed down by Simpson. It's still going, Charlie Devlin. Difficult to knock off the ball, the former Leicester City charge. Now Guyot. Ralph does well to keep the play alive and shepherd it away from defenders. Cowan. Challenge from McGowan. Brazil typically on the right wing, currently on the left. And they'll go all the way back to the goalkeeper, Rogers. Still to go to Ipswich Town on the 22nd of April after the next international break, then to Durham, and then they finish the season on the 2nd of May at home to Bristol City. Southampton, on the other hand, just have 2 games remaining after today. They host Charlton on the 26th of April before heading for Nottingham Forest's City Ground on the 2nd of May. All of those games available to watch on the Barclays WSL YouTube channel. Gowan down under the challenge of Cowan. One of the strings that Southampton have to their bow this season is that they are yet to lose against any of the current bottom 4 clubs. 5 wins, 2 draws from their 7 encounters. Now Sheffield United pushing them hard today. Currently 4 points clear of the threat of relegation. The Blades' victory today would make them mathematically safe. Southampton still in need of a bit of a miracle, really, if they are to chase down 3rd in the Barclays WSL 2. Never rule it out, though. It is Easter, after all. Simon Parker just insists that they're trying to finish on a high. 4th position in the 2nd tier is their best ever finish a couple of years ago. That is still attainable for them. At the moment, just a point behind Newcastle United, who occupy that spot. Primus looking for McGowan, intercepted by Sherwood. Head bandage from that collision with Goddard in the first half. Palmer. Drifting ball to that back post, looking for Brazil. That'll be a free kick. Judged to have been a touch too physical against Abby Lafayette. Played of every minute so far this season in the league has Lafayette. Celebrated her birthday on Wednesday. Simpson wins it back off of Guyot. Palmer again will try to fizz another ball out in the direction of the right side of that box. Rogers' distribution tested again. Well held up by Ralph. Has it all to do? Stephen Healy with his notebook there. Called Southampton a very good outfit, said they're very organised and will cause them some threats and problems. He felt like they were particularly punishing in set pieces in the meeting back in December. So he will be frustrated to have conceded from 1 in the first half. Intimated that that was an area of their focus this week in the build-up to the game. Another change potentially on the way for Sheffield United. Lauren Thomas is, well, appears ready to be going on, taking on some final instructions from members of Stephen Healy's coaching team. Healy, who was appointed in January as the club's new head coach. Joins from MK Dons, where he had a short spell after working as first-team coach for Barclays Women's Super League side West Ham last season. Well, Lafayette does brilliantly to spin away from Bashford. Just a bit too much on the ball, though. One under good pressure from Andrews. Now to Mott. Closed down by Devlin. Brazil tries to step away from Rouse. Kinsit picks it up. As a unit, Southampton have really picked up since the new year, conceding among the fewest goals in WSL 2 for 2026, just 7 in 9 games now. As big a reason as any as to why they have climbed the table in the Barclays WSL 2. As Rouse trying to poke the ball forwards up to Guyot, gets it back again. Bourne committed herself. Mott clears, Palmer nods down, and the experienced Atlanta Primus picks it up, albeit gives it straight to Joy Ralph. Devlin needs support, doesn't have a lot of it at the moment. Charlie Devlin does well, gets to the byline. Nobody attacks it. Devlin making something out of nothing, really, now with Guyot. McGowan gets the right side of Cowan and puts that out for a Sheffield United throw-in. Big shouts for handball, and it is. Tara Bourne can't believe it. She gets a yellow card, so judged to have been a deliberate handball. And Sheffield United have a penalty inside the final 30 minutes. A game that is seesawed back and forth throughout. Twists again, and Amy Andrews, who scored the opener for the Blades, can try to grab a second of the afternoon. So Tara Bourne is booked, conceding a penalty kick against her former club. And Sheffield United, though their head coach has tried to play the consequence and the significance of this game down in terms of their fight for survival, have an opportunity to draw level with Southampton. It is Amy Andrews, and it's 2-2. Her second goal of the afternoon. It is her 9th of the season. And with 25 minutes remaining now, the Blades have something to build on. Can they leave Southampton with all 3 points and their Barclays WSL 2 status secured for another season? Changes also being made as Lauren Thomas will come on and Joy Ralph will make way. Fresh legs. Thomas, who knows the Southampton boss Simon Parker so well after their time together at Blackburn. And there is confirmation of that yellow card for Tara Bourne for the deliberate handball in the eyes of the official Ella Broad. Sets up the conclusion of this game quite nicely, doesn't it? Bashford tries to set McAloney away and get the Saints back on the front foot again. They have really surrendered the impetus so far in this second half. Collision there, and Devlin goes down holding her knee. Fell awkwardly. Play continues though with Sian Rogers. And now, quite rightly, the referee does halt proceedings to check on Devlin. Seemed to fall quite awkwardly. A collision involving Amy Palmer. Good to see her back on her feet again. Reeville being chased after by McAloney. This is Amy Andrews on a hat-trick now, let's not forget. Mott gets there first though with the tough challenge. Well held up by McAloney initially. Bit of tussling off the ball. And I think the referee spotted a little kick out from Abby Lafayette. That'll be a yellow card. Just over 20 minutes remain at the Silver Lake Stadium. Another pause in play will allow both coaching staffs to get some instructions onto their players. We saw Fran Stenson go down in the first half as well, indicating that she had a problem, which gave both sides the opportunity to do exactly this. That also coincided with Sheffield United being on top. Stephen Healy said he's not thinking about securing safety today, but he must be. That must have just been for our benefit. As a group, they waited 139 days for a first win that came last weekend against Portsmouth. 2-2 now would see them over the line. They can start planning for the summer and start planning for another season at this level. Southampton have made no secret of their promotion dreams, their promotion hopes, but chances are they will have to wait for another season. They certainly will have to do so if they can't find a way to get a winner here this afternoon. Fran Stenson's okay. You might not be all that surprised to hear. She squeezes the ball out to the right-hand side for Collett. Kept alive by Simpson. Back to Mott. One ball over the top will give Primus something to chase, but Rogers gets there first. Might have been an awkward collision. And it's Atlanta Primus, the Southampton captain, who's down. Came off the worst of all. Rogers balloons that clearance. Both players absolutely adamant that it's their ball. Sheffield United have it. Sherwood. The Blades have been blunt away from home all season, earning just 6 points from a possible 24. But if they could just turn this current scoreline into a win today, it would be so important. Struggled to score away from goal this season. No side has scored fewer away goals than Sheffield United, just 17 in 18 matches prior to today. Rouse does well to battle to win that back away from McAloney. Charlie Devlin looking for Amy Andrews on a hat-trick, pokes it goalwards, stopped by Stenson. And the likes of Lauren Thomas and Shauna Guyett just weren't close enough there to be able to follow up with the rebound. Another attempt headed away by Mott. Simpson picks it up. Under pressure from Cowan. Gets it away to Lafayette. This is Amy Palmer. They've got to find a way to get Amy Andrews involved as often as they possibly can. Does so well to get the other side of Collett. Stabs it towards the goalkeeper. This will be a Sheffield United free kick with the assistant's flag up on the far side. A point would take Sheffield United to the verge of safety. It would mean that Portsmouth would have to win both of their last two matches, which is a tall order. Never rule it out, though, with a side that's scrapping towards the bottom of the table. At the top, though, a point for Southampton. Not really good enough. They would remain, well, now 6 points adrift of that all-important third place, which means that elusive playoff spot would prove exactly that. Flick around the corner from Rouse to Lafayette. A point certainly better for the visitors than the Saints. Quick throw-in, finds Andrews. Devlin keeps the play alive and finds Andrews, who hits it. Well saved by Stenson. Really well stopped. Amy Andrews so close again there. Sheffield United pushing for what could well be a winning goal. Cowan looking for Guyett. It's so well kept alive by Charlie Devlin, and I have to admit, I thought the danger was gone after the first flick goalwards from Amy Andrews. Playing more centrally now. She got a second bite at the cherry there. Kens it to Rouse, now to Devlin. Devlin tries her luck from range. The deflection took all of the sting out of that shot. Tegan McGowan. Well cut out by Cowan. Bashford's block there, taking all the force out of the shot. Lafayette's clearance has been misjudged by Bourne. Picked up by Thomas. This is Shauna Guyatt to Devlin. Comfortable save for the goalkeeper. Parries that to the left-hand side. It'll be a throw. Felt like the goalkeeper might have been able to keep a hold of that. Throwing quickly taken. Shauna Guyatt. Twists and turns, tries to get away from Primus. Makes the challenge, gets the ball. Had to get that exactly right, and the clearance away is a good one too. McAloney tries to hold it up. Concedes position in a dangerous area. Reeville. Lafayette's long ball. Flicked forwards. Comes to Simpson. Scorer of Southampton's first. Rouse wheels away from Southampton's midfield. Ball forwards towards Lauren Thomas. Lafayette now. Held up by Bashford. Into Devlin on the left wing. Supported by Guyatt. Thomas is there too. But it's Southampton that will come away with the ball, and a long clearance in the direction of McGowan. Goes down under the challenge of Reeville. Wants a free kick. Won't get one though. Or perhaps now will. This is Millie Mott. Ellie Brazil. Carrying that ball into Sheffield United territory, exchanging passes with Primus and still going. Looked to thread the eye of the needle for McGowan, but it's Devlin instead who has it for Sheffield United. Rouse to Kinsit. Well, a point would all but end Southampton's hopes of reaching the top three on Sunday. Crystal Palace host Ipswich Town, as Cowan tries something rather speculative, headed by Bourne back to Stenson. Durham host Bristol City, and Newcastle United face Nottingham Forest. All available for you to watch on the Barclays WSL YouTube page. This is Bashford. Back for Palmer. Mott carries the ball. Finds Simpson, who just about keeps that in. Awkward one for Lafayette. It did go out in the end for a goal kick. WSL Football have launched a brand new app around a week ago, offering fans of both the Barclays WSL and Barclays WSL 2 a front row seat to exclusive content. All the games broadcast on the league's YouTube channel can be found there too. Southampton make their second change as Maria Edwards replaces Tegan McGowan. To go back to the app, you can download it for free. Just search WSL Football in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Less than 10 minutes remaining now then at the Silver Lake Stadium. So much still on the line for both, if they can find a winner. Maria Edwards, who proved to be an outlet in the late stages at Portman Road as Atlanta Primus tries her luck from range. Quite an eventful game. Sian Rogers slightly slower in the second half. Mott flicks down to Primus and gets it back again. And a challenge with Thomas. Palmer committing to the ground. It ricochets to Simpson. Quite an even affair now, as we're inside the final 10. Southampton haven't really threatened at all in the second half. Just one attempt. They had 14 at half-time. But they have a penchant for the late and the dramatic, as they showed in Suffolk a week ago with that winner from Rachel Brown at the death. Simpson. Deflected behind for a corner kick. It'll be Tara Bourne who goes to take the corner kick. Winners last week in the 97th minute. In swinging ball. Awkward, half cleared away. Now Andrews has it. Bounces a clearance off of McAloney. This is McAloney. Finds Bourne, who still has plenty of space over there. Another low ball in. Bashford attacks it. Cleared away by Devlin. Southampton proving stubborn here. Palmer trying to find Edwards. One for Andrews to chase, though the ball spinning away from her and into the path of Megan Collett instead. A slip there will free Edwards up. Maria Edwards just in behind Atlanta Primus, and Lafayette takes no chances whatsoever in smashing that clear. That might well have been the opening that Southampton were looking for. Palmer tries to find the ball over the top for Primus. Is she onside? Flag stays down. Atlanta Primus! No, now the flag finally goes up. Must have been tight. Atlanta Primus, who has gone almost now 13 games without a goal. Her last coming against Durham way back in November. Just caught the wrong side of the defenders. Amy Palmer, again looking to go long over the top. This time Brazil was the target. McAloney to Bashford, now to Primus again, and Palmer once more at the centre of everything. Jess Simpson. Southampton starting to threaten for the first time all game. Can they turn it in? It is in! Mary Bashford might claim it, Ellie Brazil likewise. I think Bashford will be credited with the goal. Having not threatened throughout the second half, finally that one telling ball to the back post. And an important nod back across the face of goal made things so difficult for those Sheffield United defenders. And Mary Bashford scrambles it in. Southampton looking for back-to-back victories for the first time in 3 months, and looking to fan the flames of hope that they can still push for a top 3 finish. I told you they had a a habit of scoring late goals. They've done it again. And far from convincing restart here from the visitors. Reeville under pressure. She brings Edwards down, and the referee's got a decision to make. And it's a red card. And Jess Reeville knew it. The moment that the whistle went, it'll be a free kick. How an afternoon can turn in a matter of moments in the Barclays WSL 2. An awful restart. Saw Edwards sneak in behind. And the 20-year-old defender just knew it. From 2-2 to 3-2 down to 10. And there's only one person taking this, and that is Amy Palmer. Last weekend, in stoppage time at Portman Road, Southampton had a free kick from an almost identical position. Palmer took it, it ricocheted and pinballed all over the penalty area before falling to Rachel Brown to give them the late winner. They might well have another late winner this weekend. And now an opportunity to perhaps put the icing on the cake. Amy Palmer stood over the ball. Jess Simpson's there as well. You'd sense this will be Palmer. It is Palmer. Oh, it's magnificent! What a twist in fortunes here! And what a way to score! That is world class from Amy Palmer. Against her former club, and Southampton will continue to push for the dream of that playoff place. Sheffield United are not safe, not yet. High drama down the stretch at the Silver Lake Stadium. It will make this a long journey home for Sheffield United. Plenty of time for Stephen Healy to mull things over. Inside the final minute of the 90. Southampton edging in on what will be a fourth home victory. A second on the spin for Simon Parker as well. And there'll be 5 additional minutes as they prepare another couple of changes on the far touchline. One of those is Rachel Brown, the hero a week ago. Mott flicks the ball away from Thomas. Edwards to Primus, and back to Maria Edwards once more. Looking for McAloney. Sheffield United have it back. And the story of the game really are 2 spells of 5 minutes in both halves, which have seen Southampton punish Sheffield United. 2 goals in the final 5 minutes of the first half. 2 goals in the space of just a minute or so in the final 5 minutes of the second half. And there are those changes as Jess Simpson, the scorer of the first equaliser, is replaced by Rachel Brown, and Ellie Brazil, who put the ball on a plate for Mary Bashford to nudge them in front, likewise makes way. It's Abby Ferguson who takes her place and can offer some fresh legs down the stretch here. Might have counted herself a little unlucky not to keep her place. Played well at Ipswich last weekend when Brazil was unavailable through concussion. This is Devlin, hoping to find Guyot, but nothing doing. As Simpson continues to make her way off on the far side. Here's Cowan. Ball forwards, finding Lauren Thomas. Sheffield United then 4 points clear of the bottom 2 sides. And they are still to go to Ipswich. And they are still to go to Durham. Southampton will move 4 points off third place Crystal Palace. They need favours, certainly. But strange things can happen down the stretch of a season. Might well have struck the arm of McAloney. She wouldn't have known much about it, having ricocheted off Cowan from point-blank range. Lafayette will play it through the lines and find Charlie Devlin. It's Abby Ferguson who's gone down. So Southampton edge ever closer to another all-important 3 points. Fifth in the table, 4th is their best ever finish. Still very much in their gaze. Rouse clears it away. Sheffield United have more than held their own for large swathes of this game. And yet we'll finish it down to 10 players. And the scoreline might tell you that they've comfortably been beaten, but it's been nothing short of a competitive game throughout. And anything but a one-sided drubbing. Some young supporters counting down the seconds here at the Silver Lake Stadium. There might be time for more celebrating just yet. Lafayette's header away, falls to Primus, then to Bashford! Well, isn't that just the icing on the cake? It is a cruel scoreline now for Sheffield United. But a 5-star showing from the Saints. And Bashford can't stop scoring. 3 in her last 2 now. A brace this afternoon. He's not had a lot to smile about for the majority of the game today, but he's all smiles now. And Southampton are coming again here with Atlanta Primus. That is all 3 points for the Saints, who continue their march up the Barclays WSL 2 table. But Sheffield United must wonder what's hit them. A quick 1-2 at the end of the first half, a quick 3-4 at the end of the second, and then a 5 in stoppage time. Mary Bashford with 2 of those in the final 10 minutes or so of the game. Sheffield United were more than in this for the vast majority of the game, and yet the scoreline tells a very, very different tale. The Saints' dreams of a late dash up the table are still alive. Sheffield United are far from safe towards the foot of the table. At the Silver Lake Stadium, it's finished Southampton 5, Sheffield United 2. Jubilation then for Simon Parker and his Southampton players. A 5-star performance in the end. I'm not sure many would have seen that coming, even with just 5 minutes of normal time remaining. They win back-to-back games for the first time in 3 months. But Sheffield United there must be wondering where that all went wrong. To go from 2-2 with 5 minutes left, to lose a game 5-2, and to lose a player in the process. Here's what it all means. They are just 4 points clear of that relegation place. Portsmouth currently occupy it, but they're charging, as are Ipswich, and they are still to go to Ipswich and to Durham. 2 nervy weekends to come on the other side of the international break. A long time for them to mull over this late collapse. For Southampton up to 5th, they need favours. But look at the goal difference. It's better than the sides around them. Today has certainly helped them in that department. They need results to go their way. They need Crystal Palace to have a wobble. Newcastle likewise. They will be watching closely what happens on Easter Sunday when Palace host Ipswich Town and Newcastle host Nottingham Forest. Both of those 2 o'clock kickoffs for you on the Barclays WSL YouTube page. Well, thank you for your company at the Silver Lake Stadium this afternoon. All smiles for Southampton, who real piled on the pressure down the stretch against a Sheffield United side that started to run out of legs. And we're down to just 10 players. A scoreline that is a bit flattering for the Saints, but has certainly helped to boost their goal difference. A painful way to sign off for Sheffield United now with the impending international break. The Blades' struggles away from home continue. They'll only play in front of their own supporters once now between this date and the end of the season, that against Bristol City. But a somewhat rare happy day in front of their own crowd for the Saints. Their biggest margin of victory of the season. And a valuable 3 points as they push for the upper reaches of the Barclays WSL 2 table. They beat Sheffield United by 5-2. Well, this is Amy Andrews' opener that saw Sheffield United in front with just 12 minutes on the clock. The blades flying out of the traps and looked bang up for things through the first half of the first half. Andrews scoring what was her 8th goal of the season. Tegan McGowan here, testing the reach of Sian Rogers in the Sheffield United goal. A challenge she was every bit up to. And the Saints equaliser eventually coming when the Sheffield United keeper came for that one, got nothing. And Jess Simpson was the beneficiary at the back post. Complaints from the Sheffield United #1 in the direction of the official. Can be no complaints or blame levied against anybody but themselves here, though, as Michaela McAloney ended her wait for a goal. 2 goals in the space of just 5 minutes towards the end of the first half. In the second half, though, Sheffield United back on the front foot again and winning a penalty for that handball against Tara Bourne. It just flicked up at her, and there is the motion with the right arm towards it, which is what saw her booked for deliberate handball. Amy Andrews would be the player to step up, looking for her 9th of the season, her 2nd of the day, making no mistake, firing high into the roof of the net. And that with around 25 minutes remaining, saw the game finally poised for the final third of it. Andrews in again as they push for what might well have been a winning goal. That's how much this game has swung on a knife edge this afternoon. Well kept out by Stenson. And more chances to come for them as well. Devlin did really well to keep that alive. Andrews involved again, and as Martin Stenson, the communication broke down, Andrews had a second bite at that. The long outstretched arm of Stenson ensuring the score stayed at 2 apiece. And Southampton, who hadn't really threatened, suddenly came alive with that Simpson ball to the back post for Brazil, scrambled in by Bashford. Saw Southampton in front. Mary Bashford, who just can't stop scoring at the moment. That her 6th of the season. And 2nd in a week. Here, miscommunication at the back. Revel got the wrong side of Edwards. Edwards was pulled down, and as soon as the referee's whistle went, there was only one outcome. And Jess Revel would be sent off. It ensured that Sheffield United would finish the game with just 10 players. And it allowed for this moment of brilliance from Amy Palmer. A goal of the highest order against her former side. There was still time for yet another goal, though. Lafayette's header fell to Primus initially, and then to Bashford. A 2nd of the afternoon for her. A 5th of the game for Southampton. It may well have flattered them, but a 5-2 scoreline nonetheless sees them 5th. Sheffield United stay 9th, and with it all to do still, if they are to secure survival towards the foot of the Barclays WSL 2 table. An enthralling day of fixtures to come that you can watch on the Barclays WSL YouTube channel. All of those games available for you on Easter Sunday, with the early kickoff at Durham against Bristol City. Well, thank you for your company from the Silver Lake Stadium. Painful afternoon for Sheffield United, but 5 goals, 5 stars, and up to 5th for Southampton. It's finished Southampton 5, Sheffield United 2.